Hey guys, it's Danny Bell. This week we're doing an Animal Crossing house tour, so if you're looking for maximum ACNH interior inspo, look no further because I'm sharing 50 Animal Crossing interior ideas with all of you. We're revisiting all of my player homes on my Animal Crossing islands for a full range of theme ideas, beginning from aesthetic home decor to out-of-the-box coordinating builds. Either way, there's bound to be plenty of cozy ideas for your island. Let's get going! First on the list is Coco Bell. This is my Tropicore island, and I'll be listing all of the dream addresses in the description of the video. That way, if you want to go and visit each of these on your own, feel free to do so. I really love this particular build because this entire house was modeled to look like a resort or hotel-style island, so let's pop inside. I wanted this first room to look like a check-in area for a resort on a tropical island. I really love the greenery and freshness of this particular build, and it's also a useful space. I also used lots of greenery and bamboo style pieces in this room just to kind of give it a warm but tropical feel. I really just wanted it to look like a fun place to hang out while you're waiting for your room to get ready in this resort. For the back room, this is a small space, but I wanted it to resemble a spa area. We did the cloud flooring trick in this particular build, using the cloud flooring and putting pieces of custom designed tiles on top of it to kind of give it that illusion like there's a fog or steam going on in this room. I really like how this build came together. For each of the other rooms, I went ahead and did a different aesthetic. This one in particular is a fishing themed room, but with a pink girly twist. I did some of the fishing models on the wall and did this fun pink and purple fishing wallpaper. I really liked incorporating some of the mermaid furniture as well. I also love the idea of creating a girly gamer corner in this particular vacation room. I think it turned out really cute. In this room, I loved doing sort of a jungle theme. We have a lot of animal print furniture. I wanted there to be lots of natural tones in this room, so I went with a lot of the brown and green tonations in this, along with the animal print vibes with the flooring and just a few accent pieces like this lamp. We did the bamboo partition behind the bed, which I think gives a nice little pop of green, along with the glow-in-the-dark sticker windows so you can see the jungle in the background. For the basement, I wanted to do a lounge because I feel like every vacation space has a nice, fun lounge where you can grab a bite to eat, listen to some local music, and just kind of relax. So for this particular space, I thought this would be a great spot to kind of create this fun area where you can listen to the band, do a little bit of karaoke, and even have a little dance floor space over here. It was a great excuse to display some of the musical instruments and just really give a nice tropical vibe to the space. It's definitely a space where you could picture yourself having a blast and vacationing the night away. For the upstairs, I wanted to go with a more traditional apartment style feel. I really like doing this with a lot of my upstairs spaces in my homes just because this is such a sprawling area. You can do a lot of sectioning off of this huge space with things like the castle archway like we have here for the bedroom area, and then creating this nice little seating area with a beautiful view using an accent wall, and then kind of sectioning off this area over here into a little kitchen dinette area is really fun. Sometimes you can get really creative using things like these little partitions to kind of create a little sectioned off space even if you're not really able to access it. I find that that's been a great challenge for myself to make sure that even if I can't get to it, it still looks aesthetically pleasing. All in all, I was really happy with how this resort turned out, and I hope you did too. Next on our list, we're visiting Sugarbell. This is a farmcore themed island and has a lot of really great cozy vibes. For this particular house, I went ahead and did more of a log cabin feel. I feel like this particular house style was really super popular when the 2.0 version dropped, and I just added a few extensions using the storefronts. For this particular interior, I did a non-traditional style house. I wanted each of the rooms of this house to coordinate with exterior faux buildings all throughout the island. And you'll see as I go through, I'll try to put up pictures of each of the coordinating builds. I wanted this island to be super interactive. I really wanted this particular space to look like an antique shop, which is one of my favorite pastimes. A lot of these spaces can look very cramped and overrun with furniture and things, which is definitely the chaotic look I wanted for this particular build. But you'll notice that all of the signage and everything coordinates with a lot of the faux buildings all throughout the island, and that was the purpose for this particular build. For the next room, we have a wine tasting room, and this coordinates with the winery and vineyard area that we have on the back side of the island. I definitely knew with this small little room, I could fit in quite a few furniture pieces to create this look. Using the simple panels on the back side of the wall, you can create a nice shelf of wine with these custom design. I really love how that turned out. And then using the curtain partition to kind of create a peekaboo effect, I think worked out really well, especially with the ramshackle style wall. It just looks really perfectly old world and vineyard. For this particular room, we created a post office. I really love the idea of having a post office on your island, whether you're doing city core or even a town style island. You can't go wrong with the post office. We even did a holiday version build of this. So if you've been watching the channel for a while, we did a 12 Days of Christmas style build, and this holiday post office looked fantastic. Basically, we just decked everything out with red and green, swapping out some of the items in different color varieties, but you can definitely change that up for everyday use in this beautiful blue. For the next room, we did a barbershop. I loved this build because I feel like it was a perfect excuse to use this South Pole item that I've been hoarding from Gulliver, but I love how this came together. It was a great excuse to be able to use some of these bathroom items, and it really just came out perfectly. It had this really great masculine look that I was looking for this particular area, and I really loved how the signage came together as well. Really happy with this, and it had a really great exterior build too. For the basement, I wanted to do an outdoor build inside, and that is something I really love to do on the channel. If you're familiar with some of the builds that we've done on the islands, I used the springy ride-on to look like real horses inside of each of the stalls, and then used custom design hay to spread as custom designed tiles on the floor. But I really like this one. You can for sure use some of the really awesome interactive wallpapers that are available in Animal Crossing New Horizons to really make it look realistic as if it's outdoors instead of in, and I was really happy with it. For the upstairs, we went with another apartment-themed style build, and I really love how this one is sectioned off. You'll notice that for this area for the bathroom, I went ahead and used some custom designed tiles, and I even have a staircase pattern right here to give it this look that it's raised on a separate portion for the flooring. I really like the illusion that this gives, and it definitely makes a large space like this in the inside of the house look a little bit more sectioned off, and I think it really makes a space like this just be multi-purpose, and I really like it. You can have your bedroom space over here and even use pieces of furniture to kind of make it look separate from the other space like the kitchen. You can have your bedroom area over here and even a little sitting area. All in all, it's a great space and a great way to kind of separate out different areas. For our next island, we're visiting Polarbell. This was a natural winter themed island, and we're gonna head over and check that one out. This one is another log cabin. Y'all can tell that after 2.0, I was really excited about this particular style house. Again, I used the storefronts to kind of give it the look of an extension of the house. It definitely makes it look a little bit bigger from the outside, but yeah, I was really happy with this one, and this stream upload happens to be early morning hours, so I went ahead and kept the inside of the house with a really low lighting just to kind of give it that warm, cozy feeling like you just woke up in the morning and you kind of stumble into the kitchen to get yourself some tea or coffee going on the stove. I wanted this whole space to kind of look a little bit larger and have the ability to do a little bit extra decorating, so I ended up blocking off the back and side rooms on this particular area, and I really like how it turned out. So if you're like me in this particular instance, I really wanted to do some experimenting with not having to have the pressure of decorating all of the rooms in the player house, so this was a great way to do that. So I highly recommend, if you're looking to simplify your interior decorating life in Animal Crossing New Horizons, feel free to block off some of these extra rooms for yourself, and it really does change the way that this main room of the house looks, and it gives you a lot of new decorating variety that you can use. For the basement, I went non-traditional. We actually did a coordinating build with this. This is a mine shaft. So this is actually meant to look like the interior of the mine shaft. We've got train tracks and gold nuggets, and we even have a little TNT explosive block over here. We have a little TNT block over here. Looks a lot like Minecraft, but we actually have a pipe hidden back here that leads over to the museum in tent form. We did a little coordinating build to go with that, and I was really happy with how this one came together. I really do love doing coordinating and interactive builds on my islands. It's something I really love to do, and I loved how this one turned out. For the upstairs, we went with another apartment style build. Y'all can see that I really love doing this type of thing with my upstairs rooms in my homes, but I hope that you can gather from this that even though these are a similar type of build, they all look a little bit different, which is what I really love. You can do an accent wall here in the back with the windows and kind of give this beautiful view of the aurora. You can have a little gaming station over here and a little kitchenette area where you can enjoy some tea, and then even do a little different section over here where you can have an entryway and a bedroom. So lots of different variety for this particular apartment, and even though it's still an apartment area, it looks totally different than the one from the last island. Really hope you love all of these winter vibes. Let's go over to the next island. For the next island, this is Everbell. This is a kidcore style island, and this one is definitely bright and colorful. This one actually had a Lisa Frank theme undertone to the island. So there was 2 player houses on this island. This first one is just a 2-room style house, and it was meant to look like a little school. So I really wanted to have like preschool vibes going on. So let's head inside so you can check it out. The first room was meant to look very fun and playful. Again, lots of toys, definitely a preschool vibe. It for sure afforded me the ability to use a lot of the ceiling items that I've never been able to use when decorating in Animal Crossing before. So I got very excited being able to use some of the rainbow paper chains, some of the rainbow track lighting, just a lot of really fun, colorful items that I wouldn't normally get to use in most of my interior builds. I found that I was able to use in this particular house. For the back room, I wanted it to look like an outdoor playground area, so we used this blacktop style asphalt flooring and then just kind of making it look like an outdoor playground. I also used a little gyroid on the wall pushed next to the slide to kind of make it look like he was ready to get on the slide. Just a really fun, very interactive build to go along with our schoolroom. I was really happy with how this little house turned out, and it was really fun doing a house that was still in the very minimal starting phases and definitely gave some variety to the island. For the main house on Everbell, I was kind of going for Barbie dream home vibes, not entirely, but just kind of wanted to give it lots of pink, fun vibes. Used some of the different items here in the front to kind of give it the illusion like there's a lawn being mowed, and of course Rossetti here in the front. I went ahead and did a fun overlook balcony here where we could add some items, and it was really important to me because this particular house was a non-traditional style build with coordinating builds to go with some of these businesses that you can see from the overlook here back behind the house. You'll see in a minute when we go inside that some of these different coordinating builds, like I said, were also just fun and colorful, but go along with the interior of each of these rooms inside this house. The first one is this music store. I really love this. Again, a really great excuse to use all of the amazing musical instrument items that exist in Animal Crossing New Horizons. I feel like there's so many amazing interactive items in this game, and I've never really had an opportunity quite like this to be able to use so many of these music items in one room, so I was very excited to be able to do it. Lots of fun, colorful pieces, and just a lot of fun, very interactive things to use inside this room. It also was a great excuse to be able to display a lot of KK's albums on the wall. I feel like sometimes they can be some of the best art pieces to utilize when you're doing an interior build, so don't forget to use those. In the back in this small little room, I wanted to do a Dunkin Donuts room. We did a very tiny little exterior build for a Dunkin Donuts on the island, so I wanted to do a coordinating interior build. It was just a fun little build. I did a little speed build video on this. In fact, for a lot of these builds, if you're looking for a full-fledged tutorial on how to do some of the coordinating exterior builds for these, be sure to check out each of the island playlists and you'll find most of them there. For the next room, we did an art studio. I wanted to do a little bit of a Lisa Frank style art studio, so it's definitely bright and colorful. Since this is a kidcore style island, it definitely has a more kid twist to it than it is a more of an adult art studio, but it was a great excuse to use some of the art from Red's boat that I hadn't donated to the museum, and then just using some custom designs on the wall. I just really enjoyed being able to use some of these other items, as well as a bench in the back for practical purpose as well. For the next room, we did an IHOP. I really love this one. I feel like with a kidcore island, you definitely want a pancake restaurant of some kind with breakfast food. That's definitely huge. Now, this particular build, it was very much a challenge to fit this much furniture into one space. And even though you have to scooch to get to most of the different spaces in this particular build, it really was fun being able to create it. For the basement, we created this huge dance studio, and if you're familiar with Lisa Frank, she has this entire art piece dedicated to ballet bunnies, and so that's why the rabbits are incorporated into this particular build. But if you do love dance and you're passionate about it like I am, you could for sure create this style of build without the bunnies if you're looking for something a bit more traditional. But with something that's as huge as a basement like this, it is nice to be able to utilize this space. And having the window wallpaper, I feel like really opens up a dark space like the basement in the house, just because there aren't any windows in the original part of the basement. It's just really nice and brings in a lot of light. For the upstairs for this particular island, I love this one. I think this might be my favorite apartment type build for this particular space, just because it's so fun and colorful. Again, I utilized some custom design tiles here on the floor to differentiate the kitchen area from the rest of the apartment space. I did the accent wall on the opposite side of the wall instead of the back wall this time, which was a fun differentiation. And I created this fun closet space over here on the side. We do have a little nook over here to game next to our bunk bed over here on the corner, and then a little futon on the floor, but I was really happy with how this one came together. It's just really fun, very colorful, and probably one of my favorite builds for interior builds on my islands. I hope this one brought you lots of inspo. Let's head to the next island. The next island is Maplebell. This is a fall overgrown cottagecore island. I really loved this one only because it's very different. Our player house is completely set apart from the rest of the island. It is totally waterlocked across here. The only way to get to it is through pipe travel, which is actually hidden in the cliff. I did that just because the pipe is green and it doesn't really match the aesthetic of the island, but the only way to get to it is to pipe travel. So if you're totally okay with it, I highly recommend doing this. If you're okay with your player being basically secluded and stuck over on only this part of the island, I highly recommend it. It's really picturesque, makes for a great view, and I kind of wanted it to have that lighthouse vibe, so I was really happy with how this one came together. It's been really fun on this island. I really enjoyed decorating with all of the fall trees. Let's head in. For this one, of course, I wanted to embrace everything fall and cozy. Definitely lots of Thanksgiving vibes going on for this island since it was fall themed and done during the fall season. We have, of course, the back room blocked off in this particular main room, so it made it nice because I could kind of create this main grand entrance surrounding the fireplace area over here, and then having sort of like a kitchenette on one side, and then on this opposite side we could have a little dining space and use some of the delicious cozy food items that we have in the game. Perfect for this time of year especially, but if you're looking to do something more of like a spring cottagecore, you could easily recustomize a lot of these Turkey Day items can be recustomized into like a spring, more of a green tone, so I highly recommend that, but I really like how this space came together. For the bedroom on this side, I went ahead and did a sidewall for the accent wall, and I really like using the glow-in-the-dark stickers with this window frame customization to really look like windows. I love this. I feel like this has been a huge trend in the Animal Crossing community. It definitely takes your interior builds up a notch and really gives it a realistic vibe. And I really love these pillars. Can we talk about these pillars, please, with the vines wrapped around? They're an outdoor item, but they look fantastic indoors. Now, the basement of this house is very non-traditional. This is actually a coordinating build that I did with a rundown abandoned church build that we did on the island. So if you're looking for a tutorial on how to recreate that space, be sure to check out the Maplebell playlist. I do have a full speed build video on that, but this is a coordinating interior build that we did in the basement of the house just to kind of give that as an added interactive vibe. For the upstairs of this house, since it is modeled after a lighthouse, I knew that I definitely wanted to turn the upstairs into an overlook, or a place that basically was replicating the top of a lighthouse where you could look out over the ocean, and that's kind of what we were doing here. So I used an extra lighthouse item, surrounded it with a lot of the safety railing, and then kind of gave it the look using the ocean wallpaper that we were up high, and that's kind of how we created that look. For our next island, we're hopping over to Honeybell. This is a pink city core My Little Pony themed island. I really loved this one. This was a very fun, playful island to do throughout the spring and summer. I really loved all of the fun pink vibes. So if you're looking for pink city core inspo, definitely check out this island in person. For the house, I wanted it to have this idea that someone was kind of in the process of moving in. So that's why we went ahead and put the moving truck there with lots of boxes. And yeah, let's head inside. For For some of the builds, we went non-traditional. For instance, the main room of the house is modeled to look like a cafe that is a coordinating interactive build that goes with some of the builds when you first walk off the airport area for the entrance. So a lot of these are interactive. They go with a lot of the faux buildings on the island. I really like the window, the realistic window glow-in-the-dark stickers that we have put on the walls over here. It just adds a lot to this build. For the back room, we created a beauty salon. I really love this one. This might be one of my favorites. Even though it's a very tiny space, I like how fun and girly it is. My Little Pony was one of my favorite toys to play with growing up. I loved styling their hair. I loved doing all of that. And so this was a very fun space to recreate. We used a lot of the mermaid furniture and a lot of the fun items to kind of create this fun sort of beauty parlor sort of space. It was meant to look like the pretty parlor playset for My Little Pony. For the next room, this was meant to look like a girly tattoo parlor, which I know is a very interesting dichotomy, but since this was a pink city, we sort of made this very fun and purple themed. Now you could definitely go more traditional and recreate this space with more of the black, gray, and red vibes, with some of the skull items replaced accordingly, but I really love the purple and pink. It definitely makes it fun and girly, but the skull rug definitely ties it all together. For the next room, we did a library. This is, of course, a very traditional build, one of the builds that I think most of us did right away when we started playing Animal Crossing New Horizons. I can remember building a library in my very first house that I ever had for Animal Crossing back in 2020. So, of course, just vamping up this build and adding some of the bookshelves, getting very creative on sandwiching them together and placing all the items, using some brighter colors, vamped it up a lot. For the basement of the house, I wanted to go back to the idea of someone moving into the house, so we definitely used a lot of the crafted cardboard box items and furniture pieces, using some glow-in-the-dark stickers to create a doorway over to the side to kind of give it the illusion that there's another room over there. And then using a crafting bench as part of the furniture is just a very nice utility feature so that it's also a useful space, just a fun way to kind of deck out your basement in a very easy way. For the upstairs, we created, you guessed it, another apartment space. I love my apartment spaces, you guys. We did this a little bit differently, though. We have the kitchen off to the side in a different space this time. Definitely just kind of trying to change it up a little bit. Using, again, all different types of furniture pieces I feel like were kind of used in this apartment. I like to kind of mix up the furniture sets. I think sometimes it's nice to kind of use a whole furniture set in a build, but sometimes it's nice to kind of break it up and use all different ones. I hope you guys enjoyed this inspiration. Let's head over to the next island. For this particular island, this is my realistic city core island, Honeybell. This is near and dear to me. It's my favorite island of all. It's a realistic city and it has 3 houses, so we're gonna pop over to the first one. This one I wanted to look like an Airbnb, and so it has a more traditional house style, so let's head in and check out the first room. I think you're really gonna like this house. For this one, we definitely have some pink vibes going on, but we have a more traditional style living space when you walk in. I wanted to capture the feel of when you go to an Airbnb, you definitely have lots of space to entertain friends because a lot of people rent out an Airbnb to entertain other friends and family. So I wanted it to have a little space where you could entertain, play some music. You could also relax and watch some TV. So we do have this partition here, but you can actually scooch by and still sit in this little space over here, which is really nice. We have this faux sliding door over here and a nice little kitchenette. The back area is a combination bathroom and laundry room. I've been really pushing myself, even in these smaller spaces, to sort of combine some of these areas. So rather than having a dedicated bathroom and a separate laundry room, I chose to put them together, which I think works really well. I like having the partition wall and even these ceiling items like this little curtain to kind of partition it off a little bit works really lovely, and then just kind of having all the items there works well. For the next room, I wanted this to look almost like a sister's bedroom. I kind of was inspired by the Able sisters, honestly. We have this little crafting corner over here with a workbench as well as a little sewing desk area over here and 2 little beds kind of in the corner that coordinate. I really love this idea, and definitely when you go to an Airbnb in real life, there's ample space for everybody in the family to have their own sleeping space. So I really liked how this one came together. For the kitchen, I wanted it to be fun. I wanted to have a 50s retro vibe, but it's not really meant to look like a restaurant. It's definitely meant to be more of a traditional kitchen, but with a little bit of a fun twist. Again, a lot of these Airbnb homes have a lot of themed rooms, I notice. It's becoming more and more popular, and so I wanted this to have sort of a fun 50s vibe. It was a great excuse to use lots of the pink and teal furniture. For the basement, we went a little different. We created this really fun recording space. I wanted there to be, again, lots of musical instruments in this room. And music is something that my family and I really enjoy. We love having karaoke nights together and just really enjoying creating music together. So this is a space I wanted to create on this particular island. So we went ahead and lined the room with a lot of KK albums, again, using it as art pieces, which is really fun. And then almost creating this little separate recording booth area for the recording studio, which was a really great way to kind of section off this large room. Really great, fun way to do it. If you're looking to use your basement, highly recommend creating a recording studio. This time for the upstairs, I did it as more of a traditional bedroom. We do have a really lovely walk-in closet over here and a nice, beautiful vanity, which I thought was fun because I feel like if you have this lovely dressing room area, it's great to have it sectioned off with these wall partitions. We do have this rug over here. I feel like if you have these giant rugs, it's a really great way also to sort of divide out your rooms without using partitions. So if you're looking to kind of create definitive spaces in your rooms, I highly recommend using these giant rugs. It works really well. I hope you enjoyed this Airbnb. We're going to head over to the next house so you can check it out on the island, but I really like this little Airbnb sign. I wanted to show it to you. For the next house on Honeybell, we made this into a little mall shopping area. I really love this house, and it's right on the beach next to the pier. For the entrance for this particular house for the main room, we did this as a little shopping, like fancy boutique clothing store. And believe it or not, I created this style room well before there was the Happy Home Paradise clothing boutique challenge. I don't know. I always wanted to have a mall on my island. And before that ever existed, I've actually revamped this particular build a few different times since the game first launched in 2020. And as more furniture became available throughout the different updates, I've sort of revamped it and updated it with some of the better furniture. But I really love this idea. It's always fun to have different business spaces on your island, and I really like this one. For the back room, I wanted to have sort of a Build-A-Bear themed room with lots of stuffed animals, a place where you could create your own little stuffy. I know that most of us are really big fans of either Build-A-Bear or, of course, Squishmallows. I mean, come on, we love them, right? But that was sort of my idea with this, was to kind of create a Build-A-Bear sort of vibe for this particular area. I just love all of the cute little stuffies. It's just bright and colorful and fun. And of course, for this room, we have a nail salon. I love this. I don't remember who first came up with this concept, but it was definitely one that I replicated in my house way back when Animal Crossing first came out. I knew that I wanted to have a little nail salon. I love this idea. I just think it's super cute and fun, and definitely a great business style build. If you're looking to do some fun business style builds for your Animal Crossing player house, I highly recommend doing a nail salon. It's just a really fun build and definitely easy to do. You just need a few of these pieces, and it's really easy to put together. For our other side room, I did a chocolate sweets shop. I really love this, and I mean, come on, if you're looking for an excuse to use the chocolate flooring, hello, like look how cute it is. And I wanted to use some of the Pom Pom Purin furniture because he's just so adorable. I love all of the brown tones in here, and using some of the pastry display cases I feel like adds so much to this particular build. You get to display a lot of the food items as well. I just really love it. In the basement, I wanted to do a sushi bar or Japanese style restaurant. I just really love this food, love this culture. I was really excited that we have a lot of these furniture pieces available in this game, and especially after the 2.0 update, I feel like we just continued to get more and more amazing furniture pieces that could really be used to create a restaurant like this. So I used the basement because I knew I would have ample space to create it. So I wanted to create this little sushi bar over here, as well as a more traditional dining experience, but I was really happy with it. In the upstairs, I wanted to create a full-on theater and not a movie theater. This time I wanted it to be like a play or musical space. I wanted to replicate Hamilton. That's definitely one of my favorite musicals. And so we have a little merch table and a little snack area back here. And then as you move towards the front of this upstairs build, we have seating and of course the stage with the musical going on. I just really love this. It's definitely an interactive, fun build. And if you're looking for something to do with your upstairs space in your house that's non-traditional, I highly recommend creating something like a play or musical or even a movie theater build. I hope you enjoyed this mall build. We're gonna head over to the last house. Finally, we have this little inn. I really like this. This is meant to look more like a cottagecore style house, just because I feel like in a big city, there's always multiple places to stay, and I wanted to have a little bit different style, so let's head inside. For this particular interior, I wanted this to be, of course, a lobby, and each of the adjoining rooms has a different style theme for each of the color-coordinated builds and furniture inside, but I really love this. I wanted it to sort of have like a grandma core style, if that makes sense. Lots of antiques and floral and just a very quaint, very demure sort of vibe going on in here. I wanted it to look sort of like this was your grandma's house and she turned it into an Airbnb or a place that you could stay. I wanted to just kind of give it that really cozy vibe. The first room has sort of a pink tone. I like this one just because it's a little bit more fun and cutesy, but I like all of the gingham. It just really makes me smile. Again, I used some different furniture pieces. I find that I like to kind of mix up some of the furniture pieces, but for this one, I really like the ranch furniture. It just looks really, really cute, and of course the pink tonation goes perfectly with some of the coordinating rugs and just kind of pulled together really nicely. I like how we have this little sitting area in the front and the bedroom section in the back. For the next room, we did more of a quaint blue vibe. I like the blue tonation in this room, and I feel like the oak furniture makes everything pop really perfectly. We still have sort of a country vibe with the milk can over in the corner, which I love, and then doing little things like sectioning off the bathtub over there with the curtain partition, and then having the walls where you can have this peekaboo effect with the bathroom. I've been really trying to force myself to create spaces that even if you can't access them in your player home, if you can see them and they look aesthetic, then you're still doing a great job decorating. For the next room, I wanted it to have more of a business vibe, so this one definitely has masculine tones, but I wanted it to look like a business person coming and going here, someone that definitely has work to get done. Maybe they're not spending as much time relaxing in the room, they're just getting some work done and going on, but I really like how this sort of has a monochromatic vibe, and we used a lot of the rattan furniture in this one. For the basement, I decided to do a bed and breakfast sort of thing. So we're actually doing like all of the dining experience down here where you can kind of come down in the morning, grab your coffee, get a little breakfast, watch the news, read the newspaper, that sort of vibe. I wanted to have that country homey feel, but I also wanted it to be practical. So I was excited to use a lot of the 2.0 furniture items like the buffet and some of the other food items that you can see here sitting on the table. I love the turkey items for this particular build because it definitely brings it all together for that cozy vibe. And lastly, for the upstairs, I wanted to do a log cabin sort of themed build for this, for the suite for this particular home. I just love this. I love the wallpaper for this. I love the flooring. I love how everything sort of has that woodsy vibe to it. It kind of transports you to a whole different vibe, and I feel like that's how it is sometimes when you're traveling. You could be in the middle of the city, but if you rent a room that has a different theme, you kind of feel like you're teleported to a different world, and that's what I was going for this room. I love that you have the cozy rug underneath, and even with the wall partitions, the rug sort of anchors the whole room and centers it around the cute little stove. I just really love it. It definitely has that rustic feel, and I was really happy with how it turned out. Alright guys, that's about all for today. I really hope that you enjoyed these 50 Animal Crossing interior inspiring ideas. I hope that it brought you some wonderful inspiration that you can take back to use on your islands and helps you come up with some interesting and helpful tips that you can use when decorating your interiors. Once again, just as a reminder, you can find me on Instagram at Peppy Crossing Play, so feel free to pop over there and give me a follow if you haven't already. I really do appreciate all of your continued support on the channel, and I love posting pictures of our progress on our Desert Core Island Sugarbell, which we'll be working on again here soon, as well as any pictures from our subscriber island tours. I can't thank you all enough for all of your kind comments. It really truly does mean the world to me. Remember to hit the like button and consider subscribing if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching. Wishing y'all an amazing day. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one.